Yo, hello, live once again. Is it a smart idea to start streaming this late? Probably not, probably not. However, on the contrary opinion, there's no counter argument. There's no reason why I shouldn't do it, of course. Nobody's arguing against it, so I am going to just do it anyway. Alright, I've written myself a little, and by little I mean big, note with a list of things I want to do. Can I pull that up somehow in Krita? Does Krita have like a notes window in which I could slap that? Like Dockers maybe? I don't think you see what I'm manipulating on the overlay here, but I should also check if I actually have audio, I think. Okay, there's audio. We can hear things. That's good. And checking the Dockers in settings. Dockers. Do you have like notes? Is that a thing? Last documents. Log viewer. I guess. Onion skins. Palette. Recorder. Snapshot Docker. Storyboard. Task sets. Could it be task sets? What's this? Start recording? What do you mean by that? What does it mean? Hey, hold on. I'm gonna hide this for a second to check a thing. Let's see. What's log viewer? Okay, that's literally just Krita logs, not anything else, so that doesn't help. I don't think there's a notes window, so unfortunately I can't have a checklist directly in Krita, which would be nice to have like a simple notes overlay on top of this. Hold on, Krita notes. Can I have that? Is that a thing? Like a notepad for making notes? Yeah, somebody asked this before. Maybe there's a chance. You can install a plugin for that. Well, there's a plugin for it. I don't want to install a plugin. Add notes alongside references images. Do I still have this installed? I don't. Fine. We are doing it the low-tech way, by which I mean I'm literally just opening a notepad window on the other monitor. Well, it's gonna have to do. It's gonna have to do. Alright. So anyway, the list includes making this part of the water a little better. I think as it currently stands, it looks kind of bad. Then adding moss and wetness to various places in the image near the water, because currently the water doesn't integrate well with the what's around it. Some greenery variation in the foreground. There's currently just grass. I'd like different shapes of plants to be like dotted around the place, so it feels more, you know, like naturally growing greenery, as opposed to somebody came in here and mowed the lawn. You know, that doesn't quite fit with the forest kind of aesthetic. So I want to have a little bit of like taller plants, maybe some like different coloration. So maybe some flowers perhaps could happen. Or like, I don't know, like different colored circles. Hello! Salutations. Nice all caps. Then top left, I want to have the hanging vines I sketched before. I want to have some vines hanging from the top. Are you black? Yes, of course. Yeah, I have the N-word pass. The floating log here, which is on the sketch also. Or is it? You can't see the sketch. There you go, there's a little log here. I want to add that. There's the hanging vines. There's some like ropes in here between these little like structures that I wanna add. This structure looks horrendous. I need to change it. It looks bad. Then additional mushroom patches, I'm thinking somewhere maybe in the background, like around the tree perhaps. then also this little guy, he looks like a big blob. He looks like a white blob, and that is a problem because you know, I think it's fairly self-explanatory why him not looking like a character but instead like a big white blob is wrong, is bad. Yeah, this just looks bad as well, so I don't know if I could correct it into something more, like, something better looking. I think it might be a matter of where I have his, like, arms connected to his body, something like that, but honestly, like, this looks too cleanly drawn, and this looks too much like a blob. So I think the solution is probably somewhere in the middle of these two, but I don't think that's gonna be what I start with. I think I'm gonna start by just disabling that, like, overlay. And then I have a sketch of just Ori, and then maybe I'll trim the blobbiness on him a little bit. I think the sketch is also, like, what did I just do? Moving a layer like that. I don't think that's ever happened yet. That's brand new. New mess up unlocked. We haven't messed up like this. Nobody has ever done this. No one has ever done that. No one has ever done that in the history of Dota. To quote, I think a caster from one of the Dota... Yeah, Ori and the Blob Forest is official title. We are renaming the project. This is going to be under the new nickname of Ori and the Blob Forest. And my favorite part was when he went and blobbed all over the place. That was personally my favorite part of the game. Okay, you know what? I think coming in with a fresh perspective does a lot of good for for actually being able to progress. It seems like whenever I get stuck, like the next time I sit down and do it, I get like some idea of how to fix it, and then it works better than it did before. Like, these are way more shape. That's why I'm kind of what I'm doing with these. Are you a Dota enjoyer? No, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, depending on what your opinion on Dota is. I've never played Dota. I was kind of eyeing Deadlocked, but once I started reading a little bit of like how many different things you kind of have to know to play the game, and I was like, nah. I'll teach you Dota. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't. I can't be caught learning Dota. This is going to end horribly. Is Dota even a legal game? Can you like legally play that, or do you have to go to like an underground ring of like the mafia, and then like that's the only way you can actually play it? I don't know. Of course. Please, FBI, I know nothing about any illegal activity whatsoever. Please do not question me. I swear, I know nothing. There's only like 100 heroes with 5 to 7 abilities each. Don't worry, it's just 500 to like 700 things to learn. That's fine, you know. It's like, you know what? I'll stick to my Team Fortress 2, which is well, that has like several hundred, like probably like 100 something weapons, but there's only 9 classes and they generally play mostly the same. If you count like big deviations in playstyle. Didn't tell you about the hundreds of items you could buy. Awesome. Yeah, it's like, you know, I picked up a cool game recently. I'll send a link to it. It's called Straftat. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think it might be like popular recently. It's a 1v1 arena shooter. It's kind of like Quake, but the movement is much more. The movement is kind of like Titanfall 2, where you can slide to build and conserve momentum, and you have a little like wall jump. And then the game just looks very goofy as well, and you just fight 1v1s with people. It's fairly cool. Hold on, store page. I'm gonna link this in chat because I highly recommend this. It's a lot of fun. Very fun game. Recommended. Awesome. Hashtag not sponsored, but like actually not sponsored. I actually like the game. It like appeals to, it's very simple, which I appreciate. Like I prefer simple games in which you can do a lot as opposed to like very complex games with a lot of different things you kind of have to like learn and memorize. Because I feel like I do enough of learning and memorizing in my job and in general in like things I do, so I don't really want to, you know, add another layer of that on top to the games I play. Right, let's come back to the drawing board with this building because I hate how it looks so much. I want to remove it completely. Before I do that, let me just save a backup version and then we can continue. What's Steam? Sorry, I'm streaming at the moment. How dare those people bother me while I'm streaming? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Stop messaging me, explode, stop it. Thankfully, I think I have the desktop audio disabled on the stream, so you shouldn't be hearing Steam notifications left and right. Hopefully. Hopefully I haven't toggled that in the meantime and forgotten. I will check, actually. Not really my type of game, that's fair. It is my type of game though. Which is surprising, because when I saw like 1v1, I expected to not like it, but I really like the 1v1 aspect, because it takes away like the part of, there's usually a part of like bigger team shooters, etc., where you are fighting somebody and you're having a good duel and then you get like shot in the back but by some guy that's just passing by, and that kind of cheapens the moment. And because this is 1v1, you don't have that moment at all. Like, it can't happen because there's nobody else in the arena, so it's just like you and the other guy. There's like no, it's not that there's no RNG, because there's a bunch of different like completely BS weapons, etc. But it's like you can kind of focus up. I like it. Or maybe like rather I can focus up and just kind of like play the game. Not like micromanage a bunch of different people and like think about where they are, where could somebody come from, etc., etc. It's just like this one guy and I want to shoot him. Damn it. Nice change of pace. Like, you ever play CS warm up in like deathmatch, and then you figure out like, well, I'm not having fun too much, but because I'm getting shot in the back half the time, and then half the time I'm shooting somebody, I'm also shooting them in the back. It's like, it's not very like interesting in terms of interaction. It's like okay. I mean, I guess I got lucky and I spawned in a location that lets me like insta kill you, and then the other guy got lucky and he spawned behind me, so he insta kills me. And then like, because people come out from like random places and you don't know where they are, you just get domed by a guy who just like came around some corner that you just checked. It's like the mode, and especially now that it's locked to the free for all version on CS for some reason. Like for in CS2, they've locked it to you can only play the mode which is the most annoying with this, because you don't have teams. It's like, normally there's a little bit of mitigation where you have like teams, and if you see a lot of your teammates on the radar, you can kind of think like, okay, there's probably not like an enemy behind me because there's my teammates on the radar and they presumably would shoot him. But then they decided, nah, you're only gonna play the mode in which there's no teammates and you get shot by everybody and have to shoot everybody. And we also will not decrease the number of people on the server. So, enjoy there being a person at every angle and dying over and over again to people who can't see. I, I don't know. I don't know who at Valve thought that was a good idea, but Gaben, maybe like fire that guy like immediately, remove his job. Like, or maybe like like if you want to be merciful, like maybe like demote him to I don't know, to the janitor. Let him sweep the corridor. I think that's a suitable punishment for the man who made CS deathmatch free for all. Hello. What up? We are doing this again because I figured I want to do it again. That's it. There's nothing else to the story. It just kind of happened. This is a little too far, I think, but in general, I like this shape a lot more than I like the goofy, like, 2 kind of tier thing. I kind of like the idea of it slightly leaning and missing like a leg here. Maybe like a jagged type beat. Like, you see this? Like this? Like it fell away. Kind of could do something similar with these. It's like this could also be like a slightly busted up support from a different angle. So like you see what I'm going for here with this? Like have this and then maybe like eat into it from the side a little bit, right? So like it, yeah, okay. If you think CSDM is bad, just wait until you find out about the DM that pros play. What DM? I'm curious. What is it? CS Pro Warm Up Deathmatch. Warm Up Server. Is it? Do you mean Warm Up Server? Community DM. Voice like this. What is this? Is this like Turbo Sweat DM? Like, what's the difference between community DM and like regular? Do they have like even more random bullshit? Like even more you spawn like right behind somebody and shoot them in the head? No spawn protection, for example, would be a very funny one, I think. Orbs only, or like and I mean just the idea that you play with, oh, you insta respawn and you spawn a lot more. I'd imagine even just playing the game against people who can like insta headshot you from anywhere across the map because they are just good at aiming could be like horrifying. You can send me a video. Play games. I play games. Yeah, I'm gaming sometimes. I was just recommending a game in the chat before. It's called Straftat. It's like a 1v1 arena shooter. Kind of like Quake, but not really, with like Titanfall movement type beat. I've been enjoying that. I've played a bunch of TF2. I've played a bunch of CSGO, but I kind of stopped with CS2. Like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I can recommend somebody to play Counter-Strike. That sounds like a horrible idea. It's like, do you really want to play Counter-Strike? Like, do you really? I hate the normal CSDM because it feels like such a waste of time running around and not seeing enough people. It's like the 2 extremes, because that you either get that experience where you run around and you don't see anybody, and then there's the other experience where you can't like walk or like focus or look anywhere because there's just people at every angle possible at once and you just get shot in the back over and over again. Game looks old. I'm fairly certain it's a I'm fairly certain it released this year. Straftat. I think they just like it is just stylized that way. It's just stylized to look like old, but I'm fairly certain it's not. Yeah, it's like 2024. Is there like a release date? Yeah, 24th of October 2024. It's like brand new. Yeah, I think it's like from a small studio. And I don't really care about graphics too much. I mean, okay. when you spend thousands of hours in DM, you learn the patterns. I suppose. I've never had too much interest in like becoming a pro in CS. I mostly do goofy stuff if I play. I like jump around and try to go for like stupid no scopes and and stuff like that. Like I suppose if you like the game's just going more towards competitive play, and I'm not very interested in that, so I'm dropping off the bandwagon. I think is what is happening with me and CS. It's like they've turned it a lot more competitive, I think. Although I don't know how much of that, like somebody who you guys still play CS. I don't really. I sometimes I play less games in general recently because I've just been very busy. I turn a lot of the time I'd much rather be doing things than play games. Like I'd rather be drawing. I like go back to games if I don't feel very like creative at some moment. Like I don't know what to draw. I don't really feel like drawing. Then I can kind of go to games and do that. But in general, I try to do things. But CS, yeah, CS. Well, also like brand new game, CS2 just released like this year, I think. Also, I think it was this year. I don't remember. But it's like brand. Well, not. It's like a remake of. It's like a remake of CS:GO, but they made it like they added the 2 at the end. It's like, okay, because I started a point earlier with like I don't really care about graphics, which I caught myself because that's not really true. Because I do like, I'm just interested in like computer graphics in general. So games with good graphics in terms of like graphically, I absolutely adore the CS2 visual style. I don't mean the skins and like the loot crate stuff, etc. because that's kind of eh. I don't really want to engage in gambling, but in terms of like the visual style of mainly like Inferno and now the new Train, I love that stuff. It's like aesthetically pleasing to like the umph degree, and I can just like run around on the map and admire how much effort was put into making it look nice. The new Train is sick, yeah. Hello Hunter, what up? Gate and Lay. You will be delighted to see that this structure has now been reworked to look even more like a potato. I think that's great news. Yeah, the new Train. I don't know why it took them this long. That is weird, to be honest. I kind of well, I kind of understand it where you have like a project going on for that long and you have it in a mostly working state, and you wanna get it out there and get it to people and no longer support like the old code base with like spaghetti in it. I understand that from like that point of view. I understand the release of CS2, but then like it's so lacking in terms of stuff. It's like yeah, refactoring TM. I mean I know, like I understand, but I'm still disappointed. And now they are adding they are adding more microtransactions to it, which I do not appreciate. It's like, oh, you can pay us more money, the update. Cool, I guess. What? It's like, really? Like, please? Not that. It feels like the same thing that happened with TF2. Because TF2 is also kind of on life support that way, where they just add a bunch of like community made cosmetics to the game. At least in CS2, I guess there's some. In CS2, at least they are doing some original stuff, but TF2 is currently just yeah, here's like hats made by the community. Pay us money. Okay, thanks, bye. And that's the entire update. The CS2 release killed my pro career. Why could you just not adjust, or like was it too different? Like lost motivation, something else? You got my interest. Networking was so fucked I quit the game. Have you gotten back to it after that? Because they certainly had interesting appearances like the Michael Jackson bug, and then, well, I'd imagine if you are used to a game for like thousands of hours and then they switch like the engine out under it, then you can feel that it is slightly wrong a little bit. You know what? This is actually a good point, because a huge reason why I stopped like bothering with CS2 is because they like almost removed b-hops. You have to have like a stupid gigantic config file to actually b-hop in the game in like any reasonable fashion, and then they just like they work their hardest to ban every config that allows you to b-hop. It seems like they just don't want people b-hopping anymore. That's what it feels like. Because the normal way you used to be able to do it in CSGO will not give you like almost any success. You have to, like, if you want to actually hit b-hops, you have to. Started playing this week again. Best not CSGO level. Orb doesn't work. PK's advantage, so P. Hit points shit in new CS. Well, I am definitely not the guy to ask, because I've never gotten to a level where I would be able to tell, really. I've from what I've seen, like basically universally, everybody who plays at like a higher level is complaining about the hit registration in CS2. And they've been kind of doing some things sometimes from time to time to question mark update and fix it question mark, but I think hit points like means hitboxes, yeah. They've introduced the Michael Jackson peak, which was where the player model's like legs were moving faster than the body or something like that, and you saw like people's legs get into position and then their body would like rubber band in into the frame or something like that. Or like maybe they peaked without the legs, so you would see like the torso and then the legs would rubber band in, something like that. I mean, from like a very layman point of view on CS2, like I think for me the feeling like how the shooting feels was actually an upgrade. But I think that's mostly due to the visual effects of it, like the audio-visual effects. And now that they added back the like white dot where your shots are actually landing, I think that is a big improvement in terms of like actually telling you where your bullets are going and how you should adjust. So I wouldn't complain too much, because I am certainly a fan of I'm a fan of a lot of the changes they introduced in CS2. Like it feels more crisp from like just the effects, but that's not to say anything about hit registration. I reserve a right to not have an opinion on that. Please, please, please allow me to not have an opinion. I beg you. Right, anyway, this building is like very, like I made it too clean. And also like you can kind of see inside of it from like the bottom, which I don't really like because it feels like you're looking up at it from the camera. Not really sure what to do with it yet though. I might need to introduce some kind of texture to these buildings, because I don't know what the hell they are, to be honest. I kind of just winged them and now they look wrong. As my current opinion on the state of this is not very good, I'd have to say. Recoil control hard in CS. I mean, now it's easier than ever because you can turn on the follow recoil crosshair and you can actually like visually see where the recoil is going as you shoot, which for someone who plays casually like me is a massive benefit. Because I never had really any incentive to like sit down and learn the spray patterns. So the like follow recoil crosshair lets me kind of like estimate where my shots are going and like learn that over time while playing the game instead of having to like bother just practicing offline, which I guess I think that's a big improvement. I like you know what, if there's one thing I do like what they've did, like with what they are doing with CS2, is that they are doing a lot of quality of life stuff in terms of making the experience better for people who just the recoil crosser makes me want to commit suicide. I'd imagine if you are already used to how if you already know the spray, like how to spray control, I'd imagine that that's probably the opinion you have. But like from my point of view, as someone who doesn't have that down like all that well, it's a big like it's a big plus. Well, it's probably of no use to you because you know how the weapons actually like go when they spray. But if you don't have the spray patterns memorized, you can actually like look at what the crosshair is doing and adjust your shots based on that. And you can actually check the spray pattern like in a game without kind of like following it. Like you know, for example, like when you shoot the AK or whatever rifle, you want to pull down. Well, the crosshair actually lets you know how far you have to pull down. Because what I used to do is I used to pull down a lot like too hard, and so I would end up shooting like the floor in front of the enemy. And now that the crosshair is actually showing me where the bullets are going, I can not do that. So I see that as a win. I am a big noob. I am the noob that they were appealing to, and they've succeeded. I feel successfully appealed to by Volvo on that. What layer is this on? Help, I can't find the layer I put this on. Surely it's not on the water layer. No, it's not. What layer is it? Oh. This is one layer, and then there's another. Which one is it? What? This? 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 No? None of them? Hello? Somebody stole my... Oh, there we go. Found it. What even is on this layer? Hold on. Oh, like a bunch of different things. Maybe we actually just pull the entire thing to this layer? I'm thinking maybe. That could be a plan. How old are you guys? I'm 24. I'll let that information out. Fine, FBI, you win this one. You can have this one for free. Right. This should be like in front of that. There we go. You know CS2 has time travel. I think isn't that like every online video game where you can kind of like the server kind of backtracks you a little bit to check for if you actually hit the enemy or not. I think that's fairly normal for like video games because you have to compensate for latency. Although it might be like a lot more pronounced in CS2 than it was in Go. I'd imagine that's probably what it means. Yeah, that's the case. Yeah, I think they've like changed. I've seen that they introduced like a new feature of you can turn on that like has client side prediction for the damage you do, but the upside is like when you headshot someone it feels instant, but then you sometimes fake headshot them where it plays the headshot feedback but it doesn't actually headshot them because the server doesn't agree. That's like I guess one way to fix it, but I don't think people are going to be very happy with that one, I'll be honest, boss. I don't think that's happening. I don't think people are going to be happy about that. Whoops. You whoops. Double whoops. I'll merge these two layers, that's fine. Damage prediction thing is just visual, who cares? I don't know. I've kind of gotten out of, like, I kind of lost interest in CS2. I'll be honest. they lost me with the bhop changes and the hard focus on adding more microtransactions. I'm just I don't like that. I don't like that almost every game you play, or like you see rather, because like all of them have moved to the free-to-play model, and now they are all basically just, oh, we want to make as much money as possible out of you, and you know, the new exciting the update you are supposed to get excited about, the update is actually just you can buy things. Like, thanks, I guess. So I don't want that. I don't want to buy things. I don't want to pay you more money forever, and then you just you in as like a as I, what I get for paying you money is I get more ways to pay you money. Like, that doesn't seem like a great deal to me. I don't know. Is that illegal to say? Can I legally be allowed to am I legally allowed to think that I'm, you know, I don't want to spend money on microtransactions? Is that allowed? Am I gonna get banned? Help. When someone hits you, you get teleported back to where you were when they shot you, so you also miss your shot. Oh yeah. Isn't that only where you die? Oh no, it's not, because you... Okay, yeah, because it's... you get tagged. So like the server sees that you got tagged at the... like before you moved, and so you get rubber banded back to where you would be if you were tagged and moved slower. Also, the tagging in CS is kind of ridiculous. As in, it makes it so, like, if you commit to something and you get shot once, like, then you stop moving, basically. It's kind of makes the game a little like you can't do too much in terms of like ridiculous stuff. You don't get away with almost anything. You like, somebody has to whiff extremely seriously if you've been tagged and you haven't died. That's what it feels like from the point of view for someone who doesn't play that much. It's like, oh great, I've been hit with one bullet, I guess it's time to like exit the mortal plane. That was illegal to say. The microtransaction police are on the way to arrest you now. No! I'm running away. You'll never catch me alive. If only someone made a new CS-like shooter that had perfect networking. Could you be talking about, let me think about it. Cyberpunk 2077, I think? Is that right? The dreaded question, is Valorant actually better? Discuss. Let me know. What is your opinion on Valorant, the other shooter, which for me also suffers from the same problem as like MOBAs, where you have got all these like characters with these abilities, and that I'd have to learn all of them, and like, you know. I like the simplicity of just, there's 4 grenade types, I guess 5 if you count decoys, and like a couple guns that work, and then you can ignore all the others and you can just play the game. That's kind of nice. Sunken cost fallacy, anybody? Like, what's that? I don't know, of course, I would never, but like, really though? Let's add texture to these like stupid things. I need to do something with them. I don't like them still at all, but I genuinely have no clue what the hell to do with these. They look ugly. I might add like moss, maybe. Maybe moss. I can't do anything. It's over. Guys, it's over. I can't think of what to do with these. Valorant just isn't it. Do you have like do you have like an alternative, like a CS alternative in mind, or are you just saying that you would like there to be one, but there isn't really? Single player story driven master race. You know what? There's definitely a big part of this. I've beaten Titanfall 2 recently, like twice. That's a very fun game. Although there's, in terms of games like that, because I really like movement in games. CS:GO was perfect. You know what? I can't disagree too hard. It was a fun game while it lasted, but alas, it doesn't lasted anymore. It's the worst sentence I've ever said, maybe. I like movement in games, and there's only so much you can do with movement in single player. Like it's a challenge. Like there's a challenge to it, of course. Like you beat the stage, but then you kind of like you can't really feel like you've outplayed like an AI in a game. Although I guess that might be because the AI is just stupid, and if they coded like smarter AI, that there would be more of that feeling. But like it's not quite the same when you like schmoove on an AI and then like hit a cool shot, etc. Versus if you do that in multiplayer, there's a gap there that just isn't really crossed. Is this a different cut? No, it's not. This is an optical illusion. What? Too dark. Try again, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing with this. Full disclaimer, I've got no clue whatsoever. But I guess this looks more interesting than it used to, question mark, exclamation point. I hope Half-Life 3 is gonna have B-Hop. I can't, like, Souls games to me are, like, the Souls movement is completely ingrained, like in my muscle memory, to the point where like any Souls game I play, doesn't matter if I actually want to like go fast in it or not, I have to have the jump on scroll wheel. It has to be like that. There's no other way. That's how I feel about that. So like I play a single player game on the Source engine, I will have the jump on scroll wheel, and you cannot stop me. It's gonna happen. You don't understand. I need to jump around. I need to be like this. It needs to happen. Well, that's the thing. That's kind of what I liked about the like Source movement and stuff. It's like they allow you to. Why is it called TF2? It's from Source 1. Good question. Which is funny because both TF2s are. Titanfall 2 is also on the Source 1 engine, I think, just heavily modified. That's what I really liked about like Valve games and Souls games in general. Like you got so much freedom of movement in them. You can do whatever you want, kind of. And then it seems like with CS2 they are really clamping down on that. Like they are really like deleting a lot of the like movement you could do. They now you have to have a stupid bind which makes it all feel like Valve doesn't like it at all and they want to remove it. The same with B-hops. It's like, oh yeah, we just like this value should be the same as it was on 64, should feel the same as it felt on CS:GO like 64 tick B-hops. It's like, but it doesn't at all. Like you could consistently hit B-hops in CS:GO, like fairly consistently. Of course, it was still up to random chance, and you could fail them and whatever. But it's nothing like in CS2. Like CS2 has deleted b-hopping from the game just straight up. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm currently whinging over these like stupid buildings because they look bad. And I'm not yet I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. So I'm just kind of slapping like random colors on them and hoping it like magically fixes itself. That is the current state of this. Is kind of what I'm thinking. Really weird that we removed it. Yeah, it's really weird because there's like the niche community of people who just like b-hopping on Nuke, which I quite enjoyed myself, if I do say so myself, like doing stupid stuff in like Silver 2. And then they just deleted that. It's like, it's not viable at all for like anything. You don't want to b-hop in competitive if you are taking it seriously, because you are completely inaccurate. And getting somewhere a little bit faster doesn't really matter if you make all the noise in the world and everybody expects you. So, I don't know. This looks like the houses from Star Wars that the Ewoks live in. Maybe. Perhaps. I hate him though. I don't hate the Ewoks. I remain neutral about Ewoks, but these houses, they just don't look right. I think maybe if I add some like moss and like, I don't know what this is. Hold on, this is a look up kind of moment where we look up the word in English to express what I want to express. Let's see. Lichen. Okay, I should have known that from Minecraft actually. I'd abuse it at start of the round to beat enemy peaking the same angle by 0.01 sec to win the duel. I suppose, but then at that point you landed something that is risky and skillful, and you can, you know, the enemy can play around that to be like prepared that it could happen, and there's like a lot of like gameplay to it that just works. And it also switches things around a little bit, so you don't actually have 100% predictable like meeting angles, because you know the guy could have hit something and been there a little quicker, and it makes it a little more interesting. Like, still not really. I don't really understand why deleted like that. Like, I can't convince myself. Yeah, no reason to remove it. Exactly, that's what I'm thinking about it. It's like, why, Volvo? That's just a fun mechanic you just yeeted. To removing depth from the... Exactly! Why? Give me my b-hop's back, damn it, Volvo. One in the back looks a little tilty. You know what? That's a very good point. Oh, wrong button. That's a very good point. Whoops. It is like, it's very tilted in like this direction. Like if I... Hold on, let's run a little very quick adjustment on it. By selecting like these colors. I think this is on the same layer, all of it. And then we'll quickly like transform it to like see. I read this as titty and I was very confused. You know what? We all have our moments. Admittedly, that is funny. Okay. Let's try and... Not the layer being called potatoes. It's called potatoes, and that is a reference to... Well, that's a reference to potatoes. Which apparently we are just talking about potatoes random. What if it was like this side? I think this would make more sense, because we are kind of looking up at this, not down, right? You catch my drift? Like, the shading's completely wrong if I flip it upside down, of course, but you get the idea, right? Like, this is leaning really badly. Don't hit me with that. Oh yes. All right, let's go back to the sketch and let's fix this bloody thing. I'm not quite happy with it anyway, but it's getting somewhere. Underwater. Also, underwater ground is one of my favorites. I definitely have that, because there you go. Also underwater ground, and the best part is you basically can't see anything of that layer at all. So, whatever. We deal with that. Okay, get that out. Right, let's rethink this. So I want to keep the general shape of it, but I agree that it is tilted a lot. So stop. What am I doing? What if we just like completely do it again? How's that for plan, right? And then we kind of have like this kind of shape. Maybe actually attach it to the side of the tree more than have it go around. Like this. Oh, let's flip it again. I think part of my problem with this is it doesn't feel like it's something that a creature from a forest would build. Like this feels like a modern building that was given a skin to look like an old forest thingy. I'm thinking like if I spice up the windows a little bit so they are like, you know, there's like a little, maybe like a little balcony as well. So like there's a window here, so it looks a little more organic. That's kind of what I'm thinking with this. So like maybe a little like balcony type thing. Can I do? How do they get in? That's the neat part. Maybe they fly. They fly now. They fly now. That's a reference. They don't leave. Yeah, it's over. They are just dead. Sorry. Unfortunately. Okay, let's some like perspective lines on this. So like, yeah, you see like the point of this, and then it like cuts off on the bottom, so you don't see the floor. Maybe this could work. How dare you reference that sacrilege? I mean, they fly now. Because, of course, as we all know from Star Wars lore, there was never a jetpack in Star Wars before. That's never happened. They fly now. They fly now. It's true. Dude, that movie was something else. Was that in the... No, that was in the last one, right? I think that was in the last one. There were more sacrileges. They've made multiple. The previous one had like a parody scene where you had like the space iron pretending to be a spaceship, and there was just a guy ironing his shirt. You remember when that happened? They like put a straight up parody scene in there because funny. I don't know. Why would you do that? What if it was like a 2-layered type beat? Like, look at this. We have like this. Does this make any sense? Does it? Can it work? Because I'm thinking I could make this look kind of like a partly eaten mushroom. Like, oh, hold on. This started as a joke, but that has potential. How often do I stream? You're not gonna like this answer. I stream whenever I feel like it, which is I sometimes start knocking out streams like this, where I just like every day or every other day I start streaming, and then I'll go missing for like 2 months. Sorry. I don't. This is completely a hobby. I have no interest in doing whatever with it, so it is entirely up to whatever I feel like doing. Ask your doctor if shut the fuck up is right for you. How about the doctor asks me, huh? I have a lot more to say. The doctor, he probably can't even stream for 4 hours. That's right. Like, you see this? You see what I'm going for? You see? We have like a mushroom type shape, and that kind of explains why these buildings are like this, because they were made out of mushrooms. And then we can maybe like add a hanging ladder like this. So then there's an excuse for how they are actually getting in there. It's a ladder. But we could also pretend that the ladder is on the other side of the tree, I think, right? Like the ladder is left up to the viewer's interpretation. I like this idea that this is like a mushroom that grew too big on the tree, so they had to like add supports to it. like hold it up so it doesn't collapse, and maybe because of the additional weight of the things inside of the mushroom as well. I'm actually, you know what? This is the most bestest idea for this we've had yet. I like this, and maybe there's a little bit of, ooh, like we could have a little bit of like this kind of thing visible where it like the ceiling of has like a mushroom texture to it, like with the stripes. I'm kind of overdoing that. This may be on detail in the background, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe this is not too bad. As the kids say these days, I am cooking. Let me cook. Which I think is a reference to meth. And it's just in the common like vocabulary these days. Is it? Right, because it is. Because like Let Him Cook is a reference to like Breaking Bad, and that's about meth. You are him. I do not know what that means. every single day, and I understand less and less, and I feel older and older. But wait, this could be an look. This has this like funny shape. This could be like an upside down mushroom. Like they made this one upside down because it was funny, and that's why they did it. This is too sharp of an angle. Like we want to have these like natural kind of curves where it like extends and expands. And then it could have a little bit of like this eaten out of it maybe, or like kind of destroyed. And then you can see a little side of this. Dude, this is starting to actually look like something. I'm shocked. They told just understand a meme. I would never. Which is your favorite Quiet Place movie? They make a second one? I'm out of the loop. Oh. There's 3? What do you mean? I'm completely out of the loop. They left me behind on the sidewalk. while they like raced off to make more movies. Ridiculous. 3 of them? You showed it to me before it was mainstream? I think I recall that. I was annoyed at that movie. What country are you from? I can't tell if you're Scottish or German. I'm from all of them, but primarily from Uzbekistan, which is my favorite country. Uzbekistan #1. The only good one is the first, the rest are woke BS. I do not know. I have only seen the first one, and it annoyed me that it seems, in the most autistic way, it annoyed me. Where it's like, oh, this is, I cannot stand that this is implausible. I must overanalyze this. This must be fully logical and explained. Although, to be fair, I think the criticism of like, oh, there's this waterfall by which we can just live like normal people, but we just don't live next to that waterfall because we just don't, okay? Like, I think that's a fairly valid criticism, because when your entire plot hinges on them like not being allowed to make noise at any cost, you kind of end up with that being kind of goofy. That's called plot holes. I mean, I know, and I understand. I kind of understand the point of like you wanna look at the symbolism and like the subtext, regardless of the plot holes, because you might sometimes have a hard time expressing some more complex idea with like a plot that is entirely sound and like logic based and whatnot. But then again, if I think that something just is stupid, then it completely breaks my immersion. And if it breaks my immersion, then I don't get hit with those like deeper ideas in there. So, you know, there's probably a trade-off to be done there. Like, I don't want to be like completely unfair to the side that doesn't really care about plot holes all that much, but I am of the kind of person that gets bothered by them. Like I can, especially the more seriously the movie seems to be taking itself, the more it bothers me, because it seems like it's like with I watched Joker, which is, I know I watched a movie, that's crazy, but I watched Joker, and there's a scene in which he like shoots a guy with a revolver a bunch of times, and he like keeps shooting forever. It feels like, and I mean, I guess maybe he has a revolver that fits that many bullets, because I know that revolvers are not necessarily limited to like 6 shots, but like in a scene like that, like I get taken out because I start thinking about like how, holy moly, this guy's like unloading a revolver like it's a Glock with like 18 bullets in it. Like, what the hell is this? And then instead of, you know, being focused on the scene and what it means, I start thinking about the like ammo count, and it's especially because it's such a simple change. Seems like just make him shoot the guy less times a little bit. Did you get immersed in the 1992 movie about homosexual people from outer space? That was peak immersion. I've watched that like 3 times by It's like the perfect movie to watch with friends. Because you absolutely do not understand why it was created, but it's really funny. So annoying when they meet up with the enemy and just stand there and talk to them instead of shooting them. Yeah. It's like you can work dialogue between your like villain and hero in a way that isn't the villain just explain his plan because he does shut up. Like, please, like, I don't know, have him like talk because one of them is like behind, I don't know, tempered glass, and there's like literally no way to actually shoot him. Or maybe he has a dead man's switch, so like the hero understands that, oh, if I kill this guy the entire building explodes, for example. Like stuff like that, you know. Perfect movie to watch on drugs, maybe. Have you heard of Neil Breen? That's a trip. The Neil Breen is not something you want to watch on drugs, because he like you would be doubling the dosage. Neil Breen is an experience. I've got a friend hooked on Neil Breen. Neil Breen is a guy who like makes movies about himself, where he plays like super turbo space hacker Jesus Mega Man, and he's the greatest, and he does all the things, and he saves the world in like multiple ways with his magic hacking powers and 20,000 disabled laptops. And if that sounds interesting, you should absolutely start watching Neil Breen movies. I wired my electrical switch wrong. Just Control Z, Lamau. What's the problem? There's definitely like a cooking related meme that I could reference in here. Like, you overcooked, I think. You burned it. You burned... I can't pronounce that. What error are you getting? What error are you getting? The error is my house is on fire. What's the error code on that, huh? I did say Lamau. I say Lamau. I find it funny because Yates, which is a friend of mine, named his revolver in CSGO Lamau because he has the like llama skin on it. That's pretty great. Am I blaspheming against the, I don't know, like meme something by saying Lamau? Is that not allowed? Am I gonna get banned? Am I in trouble with the law again? Electrician, electrical switch, like a light switch. That's what I expected. I assume he was joking, or he could have been meant that you thought you were. Can you try turning it off and on again? I don't think he can, because it's a switch. If the switch is broken, you can't turn it off and on again. It's over. You can never do anything ever again. Like the last the last thing that could have been done, it's no longer accessible. The switch itself is broken. Yeah, technically that would mean the switch worked, but if it doesn't work, then you can't switch it turn on and off again, and there's nothing else that could ever be done to fix anything ever, so it's over. It's genuinely, it's never been more over than this. Okay, I figured, you know, the sketch part. It's kind of nice if I want to add things, I can like sketch them out beforehand, and then I don't have to like, you know. So, thoughts? Basically, adding the things I wanted to add for like the whole time. Let's. Ooh, you know what? Wait, this is a tree. I can't be doing this. What's wrong with the switch? He just said he wired it wrong. I think that's what's wrong with the switch. He connected the wrong cable to the other cable. That would be my bet, but I am not an electrician, so you know, consult. Just rewire it, Lamal. I would assume that's what he's doing. Probably. I don't know. That's a bold assumption, I realize. Like, I might be going too far out of my expertise zone. Does this look like a cliff? Or does this just look like spaghetti? Not sure. Time will tell. Do I go with like a very, very big hill? Like here? No, that's too high. I don't want this to be like a massive... I want the cliffs to be kind of like not too high. What's your favorite data structure? Facepalm. What's my favorite data structure? That's an interesting question. I really like kind of how enums work in Kotlin. That's not gonna tell anybody anything, but the way that works is you get to specify like different. Okay, but it's probably best explained with an example. So imagine you have like 3 different types of users in your application. You have like admins, you have like moderators, and you have regular users, right? So you wanna be showing different states on the UI for the different users depending on what they are. And to show those different states, you need to load different data. So you will need to like show something to the user, you will show something else to the moderator, and then you will show something else to the admin. So you could, the way I could describe that is you could describe the state as one of the possible parts of an enum class, and then have data inside of that, and then also have another. So you would say enum class user state, for example, and then inside of that you would have like regular user, you would have admin, you would have moderator, and then you could add separate data to each of those. So then in the UI you could switch on the type of user state. And I realize this is autistic as hell, but that I really like that. It's really flexible. It helps with like laying stuff out and having as little of the part like how your application actually works in your memory as possible. Because without that, you have to keep a lot of the like what the code can and can't do in memory, in your memory as the programmer. And if you have structures like that, you can actually express it in the code, so you don't have to remember it, because it actually it remembers it for you by not letting you do certain things and letting you do other things and forcing you to implement things a certain way. And it's a blessing when you manage multiple projects and they are all complex, and like your own memory and brain space is like the most limited resource you have, which is a situation I kind of find myself in a lot of the time. It's like the more I can delegate, the more remembering and understanding I can delegate to tools, the better. Okay, what if we had like a little waterfall somewhere like around here, and then it was behind this cliff to swiftly jump off the autistic topic before everybody explodes and leaves? Well, we could have like a little bit of grass maybe here as well. What are they called again? Enum classes in Kotlin. Kotlin is a programming language. Wait, enum class. Like if you look this up, you'll probably find something on it. You know Kotlin? Nice. Have you actually coded in it though, or do you like know of it? Because Kotlin, so far of all the languages I know, Kotlin might be my favorite. Oh, you know it exists, right? Yeah, it might. Honestly, I think it's horrendous. I think it's horrendous for beginners. Like, if you don't know your way around how programming works in general, you are probably going to have a hard time understanding all the concepts in Kotlin. And I say that as someone who has a decent grasp of programming, I guess I'd have to say, and I still struggled to learn a bunch of this stuff. But a lot of it is like if you have written code, a lot of the features Kotlin has out of the box are features you wish you had in other languages for like ages. And then you land on Kotlin and then it's like, oh, they just have this in the language. I can just do this. That's so cool. And then you go back to the other programming languages and you realize that you would really like that. I really like that feature. Please, C#, give me that. And then they will never do it because they have to like support legacy syntax and blah 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 blah. Was a cheat that completely avoided VAC for like 10 years coded in Kotlin. Is Kotlin even 10 years old? That's like just Java. Like Kotlin runs on the JVM. Kotlin. What's the first like release of Kotlin? Kotlin first appeared July 2011, 13 years ago. Damn. Didn't realize. I thought maybe it was just kind of common, like it gained popularity now because you can do a lot of Android programming in Kotlin instead of Java, and the Kotlin is a lot better to perhaps have the understatement of a century, but Kotlin is a lot better than Java. I don't know. I don't know how like anti-cheats detect cheats, because sometimes it feels like they don't, and then you get like a massive ban wave for a while. It's like in TF2. I don't know if you know, though in TF2 there was a bot infestation. The game was just filled with spin bot, like literal bots people were hosting to like run automatically spin bot and kill people with the sniper class. And that run for like several years, basically started like I think might even be 7 years that was happening. Like it intensified like a couple years ago. And then like one day they just implemented some update to the anti-cheat and the problem was gone, right? Just like that, they kind of poofed. And it's weird because the bot hosters were not able to get back up after that. They actually like figured out a way to ban them reliably. Now there's just no bots anymore. So it turns out that like a lot of things can be detected. I guess it just takes effort to actually set it up, I guess, and then doesn't necessarily. As long as the players are not complaining too hard, it doesn't necessarily pay to do that. The problem in CSGO was you could bypass VAC as a whole, wouldn't detect anything. I mean, I suppose because the VAC is not like VAC can only do so much. Might still work in TF2. I think they've implemented something that cheat might. It might. I'm very interested in because like the latest kind of news of anti-cheats and the direction they are going, and kind of frankly the end game for anti-cheats. Maybe not end game. I'm not sure, but like AI anti-cheats that kind of learn what players can and can't do, and then like using that to make sure that the behavior you are exhibiting is statically improbable to like a certain degree. And that way you don't actually have to rely on client-side detection, which is I think fairly important. Because client-side detection is always going to have some kind of workaround, because you can never trust the client. It's actually interesting that the client-side anti-cheat even works at all, to be honest. Because you would think, if it's all software running on the client machine, then surely you should be able to just like view the disassembly of that code and figure out what it does and work around it. I would think. Like, it seems fairly obvious, so I'm kind of curious as to how it works in the first place. It seems weird. But I guess it does to some extent. But then if you have it server-side, then, well, the client can send you whatever data it wants to send you. And if it's, you know, like improbable for a human to be doing, then you can maybe have that. Although I don't know how good that can get. It's certainly like an interesting... The entire arms race around cheating in online games is very interesting. Because there's a... You know what? There's... You need to be kernel level. There's... I mean, kernel level is not like a win for free button. It just makes accessing the game's memory, etc., in undetected ways more difficult. I can't really imagine why you wouldn't be able to spoof what the anti-cheat sees, but I suppose you would have to have someone reverse engineer the anti-cheat, which I guess the idea with like the approach of doing kernel level anti-cheats is to figure out a way to make cheating so hard to do that it barrier to entry like increases greatly, because nobody really knows what is actually going on in the anti-cheat, because it runs on a very low level. It's very hard to actually understand it and reverse engineer it and like work around it maybe. And then also you need to write like a kernel driver, which, yeah, if you have to do that, then I think your entire computer crashes if you make one mistake. So it's a lot more annoying to deal with than, you know, just having some program running and you can actually just, you know, inspect it and debug it normally. Like, yeah, that. But you know what? I do appreciate that Valve is not doing that, because I really don't want random bullshit running at like at kernel level on my PC. And to my knowledge, I haven't played any games that are protected by kernel level anti-cheats, and I don't want to really. You know, it's like there's a lot of talk about like, oh, do you just want a rootkit on your device? And I am kind of convinced by that I don't really. I'm not too keen on installing a rootkit on my device. Just like, well, you're over dramatizing it. It's like, not really, no. Like, if you look at what the software actually does that you install with the things, like you basically trust a pinky promise that they will not. You trust a pinky promise that they will not have a mistake in their code that will expose like external threats to your PC. And because especially if you play popular games, then there's much more of an incentive to find out a way to get into a kernel level anti-cheat and exploit some vulnerability in it, because a lot of people are going to be running that anti-cheat through that game. So, you know, if you have some obscure software that you personally are using, then it's unlikely somebody's going to devote enough time to it to actually crack it and get you in trouble. because you are using it. But if you're using something that's like for a popular game that hundreds of thousands of people play, then you don't have to be specifically targeted for somebody to find something, some way to get into your stuff through there. Because you can just be, you can just get hit randomly by someone just trying to, find like and exploit the game itself. So like in terms of crowdsourcing solutions for like malware developers, they have much more of an incentive to develop malware that exploits popular things than malware that exploits something that's like 5 people use. I'm generally just paranoid a little bit. I mean, not too paranoid, but in general I prefer to have as little access to my stuff as possible for whatever I'm doing, like whatever software I'm using. I default to not allowing any permissions, etc. That's just kind of how I go about it. Google already knows anything about you, everything about you. Well, they don't know everything. I doubt they know everything. They know a lot, most definitely. You can't really avoid it because they don't just collect data from you. They also collect data from people you know. So like if anybody in your family takes pictures and uploads them to Google Photos, well, congratulations. Google has like perfect scans of your face. And they will be able to identify you. And if you carry around a device, they probably also know where you are at all times, because they just keep track of that data. I don't care what they claim to keep and not keep, they are keeping everything for sure. I mean, it's interesting. I'm curious to see how this is gonna develop in the world, because there's definitely like legislation seems to be catching up slowly to the thing, which I don't know if I'm thrilled about, because I don't know if legislation is the correct solution to this. I'd think the correct solution is for people to become a lot more conscious of the thing, but then again, I'm not sure how conscious they are actually going to become. It's like, I don't know. I do not know. Truly, I do not know what the correct solution to the lack of privacy is. It's a hard thing to do because information is ubiquitous, and then also you can't really exist without sharing information. And then collecting that information is like, well, are you supposed to like say you never saw anything? It's like, no. It's like if you've seen something, then you should be able to say you've seen that, unless you are you've like taken like signed an NDA or whatever, that you agreed to not say things about it. It's like, otherwise it's like, well, no, it's information. It's a really difficult problem, like, honestly, because I understand all the like privacy arguments, and we want to slap these massive companies with like a lawsuit. Well, not really a lawsuit, with like regulations so they can't do certain things. But then you can have like the data protection regulation in the EU, which serves as nothing else than just a massive barrier to entry for new developers. So like if you are new, you now have this massive legal like you have to jump through all these legal hoops to actually get your application running. And then if you are it doesn't actually improve anything, because the like data protection practices are still horrendous, because nobody knows how to actually protect data. So you end up with everything being fine on the legal front. Then the small developers that can't afford a law firm get destroyed in court because they like forgot some kind of paperwork that you are supposed to file with it, and then the data gets shared and sold anyway. So I'm not sure if legislation is going to do anyone any favors with that kind of issue, as I'm skeptical on it. Don't think that's gonna really help all that much. And it's especially difficult with the... because there's most definitely a way to... we have a lot of ways to process information that was not really a concern before. Because before the times of computing and the ability to like search and filter and like manage basically ginormous data sets, it didn't really matter like who had... somebody having your information didn't really matter, because like you would already have to be somewhat notorious for anyone to actually bother collecting information on you. But now that the information is collected kind of passively, and then it can just be kind of like quote unquote reactivated whenever it is necessary. So that's like, for now you are not causing any trouble, so nobody cares about what you were doing and where you were, etc. But as soon as somebody is interested in finding that out about you, well, the data already exists. Like the person that wants to find that out can just like go to the big Google dataset.com, and then in big Google dataset.com they just type in your name and voila, now they know all there is to know, and they are caught up on like decades of data collection and pattern finding, etc., etc. Stream is collected as evidence that I'm against Google. I mean, kinda. Could say that. Like they're certainly collecting the data. They have like a... because anything, and you can't kind of avoid it, because if you wanna share information between people, you can't really avoid, well, sharing information with people. It's like, treat anything you post on the internet as if it's gonna be there permanently, because it probably will be. It's the same kind of deal where you just can't put the cat back in the bag. Usually, and even if you try, you put a lot more attention on it, and for this try sound effect, now everybody knows about it because you've put so much effort into covering it up. Is the cat dead or alive? It's a funny question. Wouldn't... like, I know nothing about what the actual theory behind the Schrodinger's cat is, so I don't know what the actual answer to the question is, but I think the official answer is like the cat is both dead and alive at the same time. I don't know what like the actual point of the experiment is. It's like, why is the cat specifically dead and alive as opposed to being in one of the states, but we just don't know which one yet? If that's like something related to... like information changing when it's being observed, something like that, maybe. Not sure. I don't really know. Right, wrong layer. All right, I need to start thinking about going to bed. I'm getting really tired. Schrodinger's cat. I don't know. Look, I'm thinking I give this like a different color than the rest of the mushroom, so it's like, but this needs to be darker, of course, inside. I think something like this works well enough, where the ceiling is like the top part is shaded and the bottom is not, but nah, not really. Maybe like this. Maybe that's a little bit better. Like the idea of it being a mushroom, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with that. It looks a lot better than the like random cylinder I had here before. Still needs work to it. Like still needs work. Still need to figure it out like fully, but it's an improvement, and that's what counts. You know what? Okay, I'm going to quickly add cliffs to the background, and then I'm gonna call it a stream because I'm getting severely tired. I am rapidly approaching my destination, and by my destination I mean I am rapidly approaching falling asleep. Let's add like these very bright. That, and then a very like bright like ground as well to it. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, approaching, going horizontal, exactly. That's the plan. That's the plan. Whoa, look at that. This is... something's on the wrong layer here. What is that? So yeah, these are very like simply mono-colored, but we're gonna have to do for now. I think there needs to be a little more in here. Like this maybe should also be like dark. And maybe like a little bit of like a grassy hill in front of that. Something like this? Question mark? Explanation point? Explanation point? Yeah, that's a sign I definitely need to go to bed. Gotta identify what layer this is on. Might be on the water layer, honestly. What could I have possibly put that on? On this one? How did this happen? Don't know. Alright, let's see how this looks without the sketch. Yeah, you know, I think these shapes are a huge improvement over what we had previously. Let's eat that, and I'll do it once again. It needs Fortnite. Shut up. No, it doesn't. We don't need Fortnite. We had one Fortnite. Oh yeah, look at how bad this looks. Especially like this structure. It actually makes sense in the new version. A lot more sense. And then the cliffs in the background are kind of bad. I think the brown is the main culprit behind that. I need to like... that shade of brown needs to be different. Yeah, that's a huge... I agree with that. That's a huge improvement. Yeah, this is much brighter now. I don't want to do it too bright, but I'll make sure that these are suitably in the background. I don't think the cliffs existing are bad. I just think they are... this was too dark for the background layer. I think this is like better. Maybe you could even... maybe I could even like hazard a guess and call it like acceptable. Maybe, just maybe I could call it acceptable. I think this needs to be integrated a little bit more with the grass, perhaps, something like that. And I kind of want to throw a very quick like waterfall in here, because I have this on the sketch and I like the idea a lot. Getting Morrowind vibes. I think that's good, right? That was the that's like the other Skyrim. I don't know. I've never played Morrowind, so I'm vaguely familiar with Oblivion, but just because of the memes. The other Skyrim. I knew that's gonna get the reaction. That was purely to bother you. I don't know. I don't know if I'm sorry. I'll think it over. Skyrim is the other Fallout. Is that a worse or better statement? Discuss. Look, we just add a little bit of water to that. I need mod power. I think it was a worse statement then, but I need to ban you. Come on. We can't be having that. Who else are you going to talk to about potatoes? Like, be real about that. Ooh, look. Waterfall here. Waterfall here. That's the big idea. Big idea. This is happening. This is gonna look great. Oh yeah, I can already see this. Yeah. Okay, let's see without the sketch. Hell yeah, just gotta expand the cliff a little bit. So it like covers this. You see this? You see this? You see this? Yeah, who else is gonna ask me about data structures? That is a wonderful question. I missed the correct answer, because the correct answer for what my favorite data structure is should definitely be just potato. That's what I should have answered the whole time. Yeah, I'm thinking these like little bits of water in the background add a lot. And I could even have like a big stream falling all the way down. Potato better than enum. Enum. Enum? I don't know how to pronounce it. What do you think of like this crazy idea? Where we'd have like a massive waterfall falling down, because that's how it in the original. That's kind of what's happening. Like the water's falling all the way down from like the tree, from like a tree. So it kind of has like all of this like vertical, like these vertical streams to it. I think this is gonna look better. Honestly, I think this is a good idea. I dig it. I should also go to bed, but has going to bed later ever been a problem for anybody? I don't think so. Yeah, I didn't think so. I see no disagreement. Nobody's ever had a problem with that. Needs a rainbow. Not sure if that would fit. It's 2024. What did he mean by this? I do not know. Perhaps we'll never know what he could have possibly meant by that. And a little bit more speedrun to get you cancelled. It's fine. We can do it. I can survive a cancellation, I think. Maybe. I don't want to try though. Favorite data structures silts try the network. Most definitely. If I knew what that was, I'd probably love it. uh you know what? Can you even get cancelled if you're not on Twitter? Like don't you have to kind of be on Twitter and like care about Twitter to get cancelled? Or can it actually like happen to a normal person? I mean, I guess they could call my job, but I'm probably not gonna get fired. I'd imagine. Dude, this background looks so much better. Like, look at how like empty it was. Now there's a lot more to it. Ori is a lot less of a blob, so that's a win. I think for this, the glow was too much. I want to have something darker in like this place so that he stands out against the background a little bit better. I'm thinking maybe that's the last thing I'll do for now, because I really need to go to bed. What's this layer? I can't find the layer. This is bad. Maybe it's one of the unnamed layers. No, it's on the background layer, but where's the background layer? Am I blind? No, it's called grass, of course. Left background grass. Sure. Something like that, something like this. And then we maybe extrapolate a little bit of this like mushroom kind of ground. I'm thinking this because, you know, have a little bit of like grass and dirt. Has the one we he has this one weird hack to avoid getting cancelled. Commies hate him. Presumably that's not being on Twitter. That's presumably the weird hack. I quite enjoy not being on Twitter. It's a peaceful existence. Because like I sometimes hear about what people talk about on Twitter and I'm like, huh, why are you on that platform again? What are you doing over there? That's nepotism. Yes, I love nepotism. My favorite. Yeah, just like build strong familial, not necessarily familial, but just like build a strong connection with the people you work for, and they will know better than to just let you go for because some weirdos on Twitter don't like you. I guess that seems like a fairly bulletproof life hack, provided you are getting cancelled for just being normal as opposed to like I don't know, raping someone. And then there's a lot more consequences involved in that, so you know. Uh, yeah, I think little patches of like dirt and such to like just improve the feeling of this. I was supposed to go to bed. That's the thing. I was supposed to go to bed, and instead I'm doing dirt. But on the like for the counter argument, it looks cool. So thoughts? Have you played Elden Ring? No, I haven't. I've not played any other Souls games at all. I don't think I would be opposed to try it, but I find it hard to believe I'd like commit to it. Play it today right now? No, that's not happening. No, that's not happening. I need to go to bed. I just drew two things on the wrong layer. Maybe. It's just this on the wrong layer. That's fine. We can move it to the correct layer. Nobody saw anything. What is the correct layer? This is the correct layer. Is it looking so much better? It's so pretty. Dude, you're gonna tempt me with that because I am a sucker for good visuals in games, most definitely. There's like a command to fit the view to the window. Reset display, fit to view with. There we go. A full screen preview for you right before I go offline. Ugh. A big tree in the background made me think of Elden Ring. I recognize the visual. It's just I think that tree's glowing in Elden Ring. Mine isn't yet. Nice, maybe we'll make the tree grow. Might happen. Alright. I think this is an improvement. It's been some time. Thank you very much for sticking by me for this time, and I shall exit the conscious plane and position myself in preparation for sleeping. Yeah, just one more comparison of like before and after for this stream. I'd say pretty big, pretty big. All right, bye bye, good night.